Hi, everybody. We're here live on Elevate Your Life. I'm really excited today to have with me someone who I have a great deal of respect for and admiration for. And her and I could go on for hours and hours and hours because we're both really passionate about helping successful, driven women to have great nutrition, to be able to be at their ideal weight while still eating the things that they love and doing everything in a very integrative and holistic way. So please join me in welcoming to my program today, Jen Beck. Hi, Jen.
Hey, Paula, it's so great to see you.
So great to be with you always. So I wanted to just kind of talk about the holiday season. It's upon us. I mean, Christmas is a week away. There's lots of family gatherings. A lot of people aren't feeling great about the way they look in their or the way they feel in their bodies right now because they might have put on the COVID-15 or the COVID-30 or whatever. And I know that you deal with that as I do on a regular basis. So what can we do to head into the holiday season and really enjoy ourselves, not be so focused on the food part of it and still eat things that we love, but not put ourselves in a situation where we're gaining more weight?
Well, I think that you brought up a really good point just right there, is not focusing on the food part of it. I talk a lot about finding your flow, which is where we have this perfect balance of mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. And if we are missing something in mental, emotional, or spiritual, we will tend to go to the physical, whether that's overeating, over drinking, drugs, alcohol, over exercising, overworking, over Netflixing, over sleeping. And if we focus on the things that really fulfill us versus just the things that are going to fill our belly or try and fill that gap or that void, that I think is one of the primary things to focus on, is what would be fulfilling for me right now versus, oh, there's a cookie. I need a cookie.
Yeah. So true. So true. But a lot of what people are dealing with and a lot of what I've been seeing lately is people are very emotional this holiday season. There are many families who are divided because some members have chosen to be vaccinated and some members have chosen not to be vaccinated. And they're actually families, I'm surrounded by them. Actually, it's amazing to me the amount of families I'm seeing this happen to, where if they're having a family gathering and you're not vaccinated, you're not welcome. Or if you are a family where no one's vaccinated and you are, they don't want you to talk to them about it. Or half of the family's vaccinated and half of them are not. And so there's this underlying current where the ones who are vaccinated feel like they need to push the ones who aren't vaccinated into it, and going into those conversations during the holidays. And I've seen a lot of people really struggling with emotional and mental issues as a result of that. And it's been a hard enough, 18 to 20 months. So, how do we deal with that? How do we help people around those scenarios where they're being excluded or where they're being, almost harassed sometimes into trying to, because people want them to think the same way and make the same choices and believe the same things. And of course, that's creating this level of stress, and it's creating, a lot of emotional upset. And that's what people are going to do. They're going to start drinking and eating. So how do we have all of those things going on and still stay in a place where we can have enough peace that we're not going to turn to the food or turn to the alcohol?
Yeah, that's a great question, Paula. And I think that you're absolutely right. There is a lot of that turmoil. And I think from what I've experienced is that the more we open ourselves up to that dialogue about what's right, wrong, good, bad, what you should or shouldn't be doing, that's where we invite in a lot of that conflict too. And so some of it is really making a decision for ourselves and honoring that decision for ourselves. Right. And standing in our own power. So I have a friend of mine who's she's not vaccinated because her child has allergies and the rest of her in-laws do. And so there's this turmoil. And, her comment to me was like, I just tell them I don't want to talk to it because I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, then they want to help her make up her mind. But
Yeah.
if she goes, look, this is not a discussion I'm open to having, we can either get together for the holidays or not. But there is
Right.
no conversation that's going to happen. So standing in your truth, I think, is really important. And that's a boundary, right? It's a
Hmm.
boundary for you to take care of you. Now, as well as saying that, I will also say that one of the things that I have found incredibly helpful and therapeutic while you're going through some of this discord, because it's not just about the vaccines, right? I mean, it's about politics, it's about how you raise your kids, it's about what happened when we were kids. I mean, there's so much turmoil, especially during family time, right?
Yeah.
And so if we're really looking at how do I take care of me, one of the things I have found the most effective for myself and my clients to process through that is writing letters. Like literally pen to paper, dear so and so, and get everything that's in your head and your heart out on paper. Doesn't mean you have to mail it, doesn't mean you have to give it to them. You can literally burn it and watch that smoke dissipate and feel the emotion go with it. And a
Right.
big part of that is just getting it out of our body, just processing it, right? Go punch a pillow, go take a baseball bat to, a junkyard.
Yeah.
Get permission first, right? But it's one of those things that you can do to physically process that emotion, because if you keep it in your body, it's going to continually re-trigger.
Yeah.
It's like shooting a bottle rocket into a warehouse of fireworks. Every time the vaccine conversation comes up, every time politics comes up, every time Susie's ex-husband did baby and C comes up, it is all of the feelings all of the time. And so processing through those and releasing those is really one of the most critical things that we can do to get ourselves to a better place, even amidst the amount of turmoil and chaos and conflict and everything else.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And one of the things that's always worked best for me, and something that a lot of my clients utilize, is if you're really upset and you're really angry, maybe you have a picture of that person in front of you and let it all out. Let it all out verbally, as if you're having a conversation without actually having a conversation, getting that pent up, what feels like a basketball size of anger and emotions that's stuck inside of you, and just throwing it out there and getting it out so that it's gone. And however long that takes, you might have to have that conversation with that picture 3 or 4 times before you can let it go. But then also coming back to a place where, while we don't necessarily understand why they might be acting the way they are to us, they also don't understand where we're coming from.
Correct.
Because really, and I think this is really hard, because as children, we all grow up wanting to make our parents proud of us and happy. And so we're kind of conditioned to be people pleasers to a certain degree. And we, especially with our family, we want to have that Norman Rockwell family picture, right? Which doesn't exist, by the way, everybody. It just doesn't. And also, we're not taught that it's okay for us to stand in our truth. And we're not taught from a young age how to set boundaries. I mean, we know about boundaries because our parents set boundaries with us, but I don't know what your experience is with your clients, but I am constantly having to teach people how to set boundaries and be firm in them and stand by them, and then have peace no matter what happens around their boundaries, and realize that they have to do what's best for them. And if other people don't agree with it or don't like it, oh well.
Yep. Another way of looking at that is loving yourself first. What truly serves you, and being okay to take care of you. And especially for women, this is a super foreign concept for many of us, right? Yes. I would say majority of us, if not. And so it's really loving yourself first and going, okay, so what would serve me now and long term? So if you know that going to your family's house for the holidays is going to be this massive conflict, decide how long you want to spend time there. Yeah. If you're going in from out of town, maybe you stay in a hotel and you create, concentrated times, and then you have a retreat. Yeah. So think about what serves you best. If it's a matter of, I can't have this conversation, then be direct about that up front. And if this is going to come up, I don't want to be here. Or when it comes up, I'm going to go. I love you. I accept you. Even when I don't understand you, This is a great statement to be able to kind of put into your vocabulary and use for yourself as well as other people is I love you. I accept you, even when I don't understand you. Because I mean, has anybody eaten a cookie before that they're like, oh, why did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I love you. I accept you, even when I don't understand you. Forgive it and let it go. And then what's next? What do you want to do now?
So that's a conversation we need to have with ourselves first,
Yes.
and then have it with other people. I think it's really interesting how we've been made to feel guilty as women if we put ourselves first. We're made to feel selfish and self-centered and less than if we put ourselves first. And really, we can't, no one, male or female, we cannot give our very best to the world if we don't put ourselves first. And I'm not talking in a narcissistic kind of way, you know?
Right. It's enlightened self-interest versus being selfish.
Right.
Right. It's really taking care of you so that you can pour from a full cup versus an empty one.
Absolutely. And, you know, oftentimes we just, we're afraid of the repercussions. And I feel like, you know, if we look at it with a different lens, if we look at things with curiosity and say, okay, you know, sometimes we don't even understand why we're behaving the way we do. So what makes us think we're going to understand why someone else is behaving the way they do? And, you know, and if we want to know why they're behaving that way, we can ask a question, but it needs to be really strategically designed to not make people feel defensive. So you know, always, like you said, always acknowledging first, right? I'm really sorry that you're upset. Maybe you know, if I've said something to upset you, I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me.
Yeah. Even help me understand.
Yeah.
Help me understand. Help me understand more about what you're thinking or why this is important to you or what makes you say that. That curiosity you talked about. It opens the door for communication versus thinking you're wrong or that's not right or I can't believe you did that to me. I can't believe you said that to me. When in all reality, they may just be trying to get through life the best that they can, just like you.
Well, and that's all we're all doing. And, you know, I'm a communications major. So communications 101 is, you know, the number one thing. The message that we want to send other people is never received the way we intend it ever, because I'm sending a message based on my worldview and my lens, and you're receiving it based on your worldview and your lens.
Yeah.
And that's different for every single person.
Absolutely. And then you throw in the holidays with, you know, old baggage and old emotions and, you know, childhood traumas and all that stuff. Big traumas, little traumas, like they all accumulate in our body. And so it's like we're that firehouse or that fireworks warehouse walking in the door, and who knows what's going to set us off or set the next person off. And so being really intentional with being in our body is really important too. So taking some deep breaths and centering yourself and feeling like you're really grounded. You know, one of my favorite exercises to do, like in 10 seconds, you could do this. You can close your eyes. Imagine there's a glass of water sitting there. It's a clear glass so you can see it. And you pour some sand in there. Now imagine that sand has been stirred really, really fast. That's like your emotions swimming and spinning inside of you. So in your mind's eye, slow that sand down. And as it slows down, it settles to the bottom of the glass. And as it settles to the bottom of the glass, you'll settle too, as will your emotions. You can do it in 5 or 10 seconds, but it's amazing how quickly and how well that works.
I love that. That's a great technique. And I love box breathing. Box breathing is what the special forces do in the military. And if you really practice it enough, you can literally be anywhere and do box breathing, and people don't even know you're doing it. So if you're sitting at the dinner table and somebody says something that triggers you, you can stop, pause for that quick second, do some box breathing before you respond. It will bring down your heart rate. It'll calm you. It'll center you. So the way you do the box breathing is you take 3 slow, long breaths in through your nose. And when you get to the top of that third breath, you hold it and count to 3. And then you release it very slowly through your nose, counting to 3. And at the bottom end, when you release it, you hold with no breath for the count of 3. So you can literally be doing that right at the dinner table with a smile on your face, and people don't even know. And silence is not necessarily a bad thing, right?
So
When
true.
when someone asks you something, if you're triggered, you can be silent for a moment. If they say, "How come you're not answering?" You can say, "I'm just, I'm just thinking about what you just said," and
Mhm.
smile.
Yeah, so much of it is our own management of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I love that box breathing technique. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So we're going into the holidays with all these sugary delights,
Mhm.
the gingerbread men, which I'm making this weekend, and and the candy in the stockings, and all the wonderful desserts. So, what do you recommend to your clients when they're going into that situation and they kind of struggle with a little self-control because they know maybe that these are the desserts that are only made during the holiday, and so they want to eat them all, but they know they're going to feel
Mhm.
like crap afterwards. So
Right.
what do you recommend when people are in that situation, how they can just enjoy that without overdoing it so they don't feel lousy?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think that there is so much of that tendency, right? Like, I only get these once a year. It's Aunt Sally's favorite. Oh my gosh, they're my absolute, like, I need this. And so part of it is intention and determining what you're going to do before you walk into that scenario, because you know it's going to be there, right?
Hmm.
So go fully hydrated, right? Drink half your body weight in ounces of water minimum, and really hydrate yourself. If you're doing alcohol or coffee or soda, drink 2 more glasses for every one of those to make sure you stay hydrated. If you're walking into a party, especially a dessert party, make sure you have had a meal beforehand with protein in it so you're satisfied.
Yep.
And the third thing is be intentional. You can enjoy, like, everything is permissible, not everything is beneficial.
Yeah.
So determine what you're going to have, right? If it's Aunt Sally's, gingerbread cookies, or Aunt Paula's gingerbread cookies, you just can't pass up, then have one. Savor it. Enjoy it. Don't gobble one up and not even taste it. Really take a little bite, chew it, let it dissolve in your mouth, enjoy it. Fully enjoy the foods that you're having, and you'll be more satisfied. The other thing to remember is that after 3 bites of something, our taste buds are saturated if you savor it, right? If
Hmm.
you eat a handful of chocolate, it's going to go in your mouth and in your gut if you don't actually savor it and let it melt and dissolve in your mouth and so on.
Hmm.
So savor it, and 3 bites will saturate your taste buds. After that, it's just more of the same. It's not any new excitement or any new enjoyment. So if you've got 3 things sitting in front of you, instead of having a whole thing of all 3 things or 3 of everything, have 3 bites of each one. You can set the rest down. Right. And if it's really that restriction, that, my God, I can never have this again because it's only once a year, then take one and freeze it. It completely takes the pressure off of you
Yes.
and allows you to go, oh, I've got one in the freezer. That's just mine. And you could be able to savor the moment and spend time with the people
Yep.
versus focusing on the food and then feeling like you're not going to be able to get enough.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that you said that I absolutely love. The last thing is like savoring the time with the people,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the relationships, because that's why we're there, focusing on laughter and being lighthearted and enjoying the sights and the sounds and the environment. And
Mm-hmm.
I love what you said about the hydrating, the 2 glasses of water between every drink that is going to dehydrate your body, because we all know the number one reason people get dehydrated and start to have headaches and don't feel well is because they're drinking caffeinated beverages and then they're not hydrating their body following that, or alcoholic
Mm-hmm.
beverages. And
Yeah.
I think on a regular basis, on an everyday basis, people don't drink enough water. So I just wanted to reiterate what you were saying, that you should be drinking half of your body weight in ounces every day.
Mm-hmm.
And in the colder months, I mean, in the summer, we love to have ice in our water because it's hot and it feels good. But in the colder months, drink it at room temperature because your body actually absorbs it on a higher level and quicker, and it hydrates you quicker if you're drinking it at room temperature. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't love, love, love water, put, some fresh squeezed lemon or lime or some other citrus that you like in there, or even infuse it with like blueberries and strawberries, which is really lovely.
Yeah, those are great tips. And you're absolutely right about the room temperature thing. It makes such a difference. And the other thing I will say is, since we're talking about weight loss and stuff and people wanting to prevent weight gain, when you're drinking cold water, think about cold water putting out your fire, your digestive fires, your metabolism fire, right? Room temperature or even warm is actually going to aid in digestion and making sure that you get more bang for your buck when you're drinking water, especially around meal times.
Absolutely. And you should never drink while you're eating. So some of the tips that I like to give people are just slow down. And this seems really weird. So if you're going to try this, I would say try it at home, like first by yourself, but it becomes second nature. You know, the whole digestive system process starts when we salivate. And so a lot of the times we are so busy, number one, inhaling our food and not thinking about what we're eating, or number two, talking while we eat, which is one of my pet peeves. I cannot stand it when people talk with food in their mouth. It's just to slow down. And so I did this experiment with myself where I would take a bite of food, put my fork down, and count to 20 while I was chewing my food. And just kind of pay attention to how far along the food is falling apart before that I hit 20. You know, just what's the texture? Is it liquefied or not, depending on what it is? I mean, not everything. If you're eating a banana, obviously don't need to get to 20. But if you're eating a burger, you take a bite of a burger and you chew that for 20 seconds and just see how liquefied your food is, because that really helps in the digestion. It also helps in the satisfaction for your hunger. And so the slower you eat, the less food it takes for you to be satisfied, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And like you said, with the fire in our belly, that's our digestive system at work. Any kind of liquid is going to impede that. So I never recommend, if you're going to have something to drink, drink it before dinner or after dinner, whether it's water, an alcoholic beverage, coffee, whatever it is. And just slowing it down. And then like you, I do like to recommend to people that, you know what, if there's 5 family desserts that are only served at Christmas, if you're a good host, you already have containers for people to use to take stuff home. But in case you're not sure your host is going to have that, there's cardboard boxes that you can get for desserts that are super cheap. You could just pop one in your purse and take it with you and say, hey, I would love to have a piece of this, but I'm really not hungry right now, but I would love to take one home with me. And people are actually really flattered when you want to take whatever they're offering with you. And like you said, freeze it, save it for another day. A lot of the times I find that when you do that and you put it in the freezer, you end up not eating it.
What did you say?
Yeah, a lot of the times you end up not eating it. You put it in the freezer and then you forget about it.
Yep. Yeah, I can't tell you. I mean, I've pulled stuff out of the freezer like 6 months later going, what is this? Oh, yeah. That was the one thing that I was going to save.
This was that piece of pie I had to have and never ate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably not good anymore. Pitch it. You know, and it's going in with an intention, right? So I have a client who has a family, and at their family reunions, they have 50 people that each bring a different dessert.
Oh my goodness.
Insane, right? And in years past, she had gone down the road and taken a scoop of each one of them. Well, she decided that she was going to be intentional about what she was eating. So she brought a 5 gram of sugar Kind bar that was like the cinnamon chocolate one, which she loved. And she's like, I ate that when everybody else was eating the desserts. And I was so satisfied because it was sweet, it was chocolate, it was a treat, and I didn't miss out on anything. So sometimes just going into that forethought about how can I manage this for my greater good versus what's there.
Yeah. And it's okay to care for yourself on this level. So, yes, I love the recommendation when you're going somewhere. Maybe you eat before you go and you have a protein with a healthy fat that's going to satiate your hunger, right? So
Hmm.
that you eat less while you're there. But sometimes you're in a situation where you're going somewhere and maybe you've got some autoimmune issues, you've got some health issues that you're dealing with. And it's not just about the weight, but it could be all tied together,
Yeah.
and you know what they're serving and you just can't eat it. And I have found myself in that situation, and I have found my clients in that situation. I'm a firm believer in always having food with me wherever I go. I always have a
Hmm.
cooler, I always have food, so that I'm never in a situation where I am hungry because something happened and now I'm stuck somewhere, right? And I don't have food that's going to energize me and make me
Hmm.
feel good. And so I have been known to take my own meal with me to like a Thanksgiving dinner. So, for example, I don't eat turkey. I don't eat stuffing. Um, like a traditional stuffing. I
Hmm.
don't eat. I don't eat dairy products. So when I go to a family dinner, that's pretty much everything's got all of that
Right.
in there, right?
Yeah.
And so I take myself, some asparagus, which is my favorite vegetable, and I take myself a nice piece of salmon, and they usually have a salad, so I can have that. And I just
Hmm.
tell them, hey, listen, and I tell them ahead of time, and they all know me now, so now they all expect it. But
Right.
at the beginning, when I was first doing it, I said, hey, please don't be offended. I really want to come and I don't want to hurt your feelings, but it's just that I'm having some health issues and I really need to be cognizant of what I'm eating. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring my food with me. Is that okay with you? No
Yeah.
one is ever going to say no. It's not
Right.
okay for you to bring your own food. No, if you're going to bring your own food, you can't come. People are not going to say that.
Right. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so,
And they want, I mean, your loved ones want you to be well anyhow.
right.
So, and it's not like you're asking them to do it for you or to take that extra on. Although most of our loved ones would make accommodations.
Yeah.
Um, but if you don't feel like that's your place to ask, then absolutely bring your own food with you.
Yeah. And you know what I have found, and my clients have found, that there's a ripple effect because
Hmm.
when you do it long enough, people are watching you and
Yeah.
then they start asking questions and then they want to know, why is it that you're doing it that way? And then you can share what you know.
Hmm.
And so you can share your experience because you never know who might be struggling and they don't have the information they need, and
Yeah.
and nobody's saying anything to them, but just watching you, kind of leading by example, and having kids watch what you're doing, which you and I are both moms.
Yeah.
So it's really important to us to make sure that we're teaching our children at a young age the importance of good nutrition and what that looks like.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you go to a holiday event and you might be the only one setting the example.
Hmm.
I have a client whose family is obese, and she is young, beautiful, the sweetest personality in the world. She's got two young children, and she said, when I had my children, I just had this whole new mindset. Like, I don't want my children to be obese. I want to end the cycle of obesity in my family. I want my children to be healthy and fit and be able to participate in sports. And so I needed to change what I was doing so that I can teach my children the right way.
That's great.
And her family was livid with her because the whole family's obese. They want her to be obese because then they're all the same and
Hmm.
nobody's different. And the fact that she was saying, this isn't what works for me, this isn't how I want to live my life, they took that as a judgment on how they were living their lives, and they got
Right.
defensive, and it got very, very difficult. And one day she was there, and she, as a little girl, had always loved her grandma's biscuits, and her grandma said, why won't you eat one of my biscuits? She said, I just don't eat like that anymore. Like, don't take it personally, I've always loved your biscuits, but I just don't eat like that anymore. And
Hmm.
as she was saying it, her grandmother shoved a biscuit in her mouth.
Oh my gosh.
So she had to create a boundary.
Yeah.
She said, if you ever do anything like that to me again, I will not ever come to your house. you know, and
For
you're
sure.
not going to be doing that to my children either.
For
And so again, it goes back to, we have to know ourselves and honor ourselves.
Yeah.
I have you have your ways of instilling things in your clients, and I have my ways, and we have our methodologies, and they're all wonderful and they work so well to help our clients. And I have an EML method. It's eat, move, and love. And when I say love, it's love of self. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that go into that.
Yes.
So I'm just here today to tell you that, not you, Jen, but you who are watching us, and I think Jen would agree, that it's okay to put yourself first. I
Mhm.
feel like your only obligation in life really is to be true to yourself. You're not here to please everybody else. You were created to be true to who you are as a human being, because who you are as a human being is what is going to help the world. And so you
Yeah.
have to be true to who you are so you can actually live in your gifts. And your gifts are really important to this world.
Absolutely agree.
So in conclusion, let's both give them our 3 top tips for how to maneuver through the holidays, having a great time, and not overeating, and coming away from the holidays having more weight and feeling gross.
Because nobody wants to feel gross and be overweight.
But we do. I mean, when we overdo it, we feel
For
gross.
sure.
Let's
For
get
sure.
real.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say my top 3 are: number 1, hydrate. Number 2, focus on the people, not the food. And number 3 is look how to fulfill yourself during the holiday season versus just filling your belly.
I love those tips. And my number 1 is going to be, make sure you're getting enough rest,
Huge.
because you will be a calmer, happier, healthier person when you get enough rest. So even though we're really busy and we're staying up late at these parties, make sure that you're giving yourself the rest your body needs. And if you normally get 7 hours and one day your body wants to sleep for 8, then your body's telling you that it needs more rest, right? Number 2, move your body, get outside, take a walk without your phone, listen to the sounds of nature, block out all the distractions from technology, and just be present in the moment with yourself and maybe somebody that you love. Take them along for the walk and have a nice conversation, but allow yourself to have that time that's going to nourish you in a way other than food, other than being at a party with a lot of people, which is very loud and noisy and can be chaotic and fun all at the same time. But making sure that you're taking that little bit of extra time for yourself. And then number 3, you know what? Go ahead and have a piece of dessert. Go ahead, have it. It's okay.
Enjoy.
Don't beat yourself up. Don't feel like you're a failure. Don't feel like you're, all these things that crop up in our head, all these lies we tell ourselves. Oh, well, I had one dessert, I might as well just eat 10 of them. No, you don't have to eat 10 of them just because you had one.
Right. You haven't blown anything. You're not off the wagon. You don't need to start again tomorrow.
Right.
Just focus on you and nourishing you.
Just be nice to yourself about it and enjoy it. And then, and then go, okay, I had it. Now I'm done with that, and move on. Don't think about it again.
Yep. It's just food. Not life and death. Just food.
Nope. Well, Jen, listen, I meant to put this up here. So let me just put this up here now so people can see. So you are the owner for Complete Health Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
And they can find you at CompleteHealthRevolution.com, correct?
Yep.
So Jen is a nutrition coach. She is a registered nutrition coach, I shall say. She's got 20 years of experience, very good at what she does. She's helped so many people. She has become a dear friend. We met in a mastermind, and I feel very blessed to have her in my circle. And so if you want to find out more about Jen, you can go to her website at CompleteHealthRevolution.com. And Jen, you're on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can
Complete
find
Health
me there.
Revolution there too.
Well, we're here now, so y'all know she's here too.
Yep.
So you can find her there, and you can reach out to her through her website. Her phone number's up there. You can give her a call. You can send her an email, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you can reach out to me at fiercewellnesswarrior.com. You can get on my schedule on my website. You can send me an email. I think I have a phone number up there. I don't even know. I think I do.
If
And
not,
you
they
can
can email
follow
you and
me
get
on,
to you.
what's that?
I said, if not, they can email you and get it.
Yeah, exactly. And you can follow me on Instagram at Fierce Wellness Warrior as well. And you can always direct message us right here. You know, we're always paying attention to direct message. You know, maybe you're in a situation where you're going into Christmas next week and you've got, just some situation you don't know how to deal with, right? And you just need a little guidance. Send one of us a DM. We'll help you. We're here for you. And we want everybody to really enjoy the holidays. So again, you can go to fiercewellnesswarrior.com. You can go to completehealthrevolution.com, or you can hit either one of us up here. Let me just get back to where we were. I don't know. I'll just leave yours up. But you can hit either one of us up here on Facebook, and we're happy to reach out and have a conversation with you. Jen, thank you so much for joining me today. I just love spending time with you, and I always learn something from you, and I just love our collaborations. So I'm looking forward to more in the future.
Me too. Same here. Have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too. And to all of you out there, have the happiest of holidays and have a great New Year's. We'll see you soon.